Yo, what's good, YouTube? So I just want to get right into it. I want to make a quick video about social injustice and basically my views on it. Anybody who has watched any of my other videos, you know that I look at things from a retrospect. I like to look at things from different angles, and a few things that I've been thinking about, especially the last 2 days, is social injustice against black people. And one of the reasons why I feel like black people have been suffering so much injustice, and um, just something that maybe we can do different to change this pattern or this cycle is you know as I age, one thing that I've noticed about life is that you sort of have two choices. The first choice is you can either be the prey or be the predator. Me personally, I would rather be the predator than be the prey. Okay? Um, what I've noticed is when it comes to social injustice and what have you, is that when it comes to social injustice, I feel like I've noticed that a lot of black folks, they have this victim mentality. Now, the problem with the victim mentality is it sort of keeps you in that category of being prey to someone else. Because you have to think that predators and the prey have different ways of thinking. A predator, when something bad happens to them, their first reaction or their way of thinking is, okay, what did I do wrong? What can I do differently to make sure that that thing doesn't happen again? Okay, that's how a predator thinks. If you are the prey, when something bad happens to you, you feel that it's the person or whatever uh, thing you point fingers and say, well, this person did this to me, or this thing did this to me. So I feel like uh, I'm being bullied or whatever. And to me, I feel like that is the mentality that a lot of black people are carrying. They don't have that predator mentality. It's like they don't really sit down and say, okay, what am I doing wrong? For example, right? Here's an example like slavery. Let's talk about slavery. I talk about slavery a lot, right? So slavery was wrong, and it's terrible what happened in slavery. But let's be realistic here, right? Realistically, it's like, okay, what exactly did we do wrong that actually got us in slavery in the first place? You see, so now some people say, well, it's the white man's fault. They did that. So, but that's more prey. That's how a prey thinks. But a predator's way of thinking is, well, what did I do wrong? How did I end up in this situation? What steps do I need to take next time to make sure this doesn't happen again? You have to take accountability. You understand? So when you look at slavery and you say white people are evil and what they did, but at the end of the day, they 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 had the advantage. They were the predators and we were the prey. So the question is, what exactly did you do wrong to fall prey to the white man, or what have you, or the Arabs? Because the Arabs, they enslaved blacks as well. So what did you do wrong, or what are you doing wrong that's causing you to constantly be victims of another race of people, sometimes your own people? You understand? So you have to have that predator way of thinking. You can't always be um uh, you can't always be the prey all the time. You can't be always be the one who's crying, and you can't always be the one who's uh, weak and need help and need justice. Fight for your rights. And don't get me wrong, I support fighting for your rights, and I support justice, social justice. But at the same time, you know, you have to be able to defend yourself and uh, have this certain type of mindset that if I'm being uh, abused or mistreated, what are some things I can do to make sure these things don't happen again? Or how can I be, uh, sometimes you got to be at the same level as them. You understand? So it's like cat and mouse. It's really predator versus prey. And really, the thing that really kind of got me thinking about this was I was actually watching The Predator. The movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger a few weeks ago. I was watching that movie and I kind of thought about it, and and I realized like when you have this alien that seems to be a lot more intelligent than humans, and you can't really from a prey's way of thinking, the predator was an evil creature. He was evil. He was killing people, what have you. But Arnold Schwarzenegger, his character, he decided not to be the prey. He also became a predator. Like if you actually watch the movie again, it was actually two predators. The first predator was the alien. The second predator was Arnold Schwarzenegger. Because towards the end, he became more of the predator. He actually started to hunt the predator. Anybody who ever watched the movie, you know what I'm talking about, especially towards the end, like the last 20 or 25 minutes in the movie, when Arnold Schwarzenegger realized that the predator, the alien, that he had weaknesses, and he found a way to exploit those weaknesses to his advantage to beat the predator. You understand? But I feel like black people don't have that way of thinking. It's more like, well, he's doing this to me, and so he's evil. But uh, you're not really kind of looking at yourself and say, well, what can I do? What are their weaknesses? How can we exploit them? And you say, well, that's evil. But hey, that's the game. If I'm more intelligent than you, if I'm stronger than you, why not dominate you? Why not? If you're just going to sit there and let me do it, hey, that's your fault. If you're going to keep that victim mentality, because that's all really a victim is. A victim mentality is when somebody's being bullied, and you're just standing there allowing this person to hit you, and you're not doing anything about it. You're screaming for help, but you're not swinging back. That's all. That's all it really is. Victim mentality is you not. It's you. You're screaming and you're crying. That's what all this marching and all this protesting. You're just screaming, but you're not throwing any punches. You're not throwing any blows. You're not trying to really defend yourself. You have to have some type of defense. What I'm saying? A predator, it's like wolves and hyenas. Wolves and hyenas. What I'm saying? You have to decide what you want to be. So that's all I really want to say. I might elaborate a little bit more, but hopefully y'all kind of understand what I'm actually trying to say. But I might elaborate more. So I'll see y'all next time.